Welcome to Forte Catholic Radio. This is your host, Taylor Stroll, and it is a great day today. I'm glad to have you in listening, whether you're listening live on Red Sea Radio, whether you're listening to the podcast. We're just sitting here, hanging out, recording in the Red Sea Radio studios, the national headquarters of Red Sea Radio. So whether you're listening Bryan College Station, Waco, Palestine, I hear everybody in Palestine's named Goliath or Goliatha. It makes for some confusing marriage ceremonies. But what's up, Palestine? It's nice to have you in. It's a great day for a couple of reasons. First, it's August. I can't believe it's August. So we have the second hottest month of the year out of the window. And now we have the hottest month. So we only have one more month of very, very hot. And then we only have very hot. And I'm very excited. The second thing that I'm really happy about is, so some people who are like Catholic and have radio shows or speakers are like, fake humble. So let me rephrase it. Some of them are actually humble. Most of them are fake humble, and they're like, oh, I don't care about how many followers I have on Instagram. I don't care if people like me. And then those same people check their Instagram and Twitter every 10 seconds. So I'm not going to lie. It's nice to get some love on social media. And what I really want is for the things that I post about faith, about Catholicism, like the uplifting things or things about the show, so more people can hear the show, all those kinds of things. That's what I really want people to see. And, I think before last week, the most likes I'd ever gotten on Twitter was like 15 or 20, right? Somewhere around there. And then I'm like, yes, I'm famous now. But last week, I tweeted about something that has absolutely nothing to do with the faith. I tweeted about chicken. So here's the deal. Somebody tweeted 400 calories of each, and it's this picture of a stomach with oil. It shows you 400 calories of oil. It's like a little bit of oil. 400 calories of chicken and 400 calories of veggies. And there's like, okay, you can eat more veggies and fill up your stomach. That was the point of it. But the thing is that the chicken, it's full like chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. Like the person didn't chew at all to get these pieces of chicken into their stomach. So I replied saying, why is this person swallowing chicken whole? That's the first issue to address. That tweet got 1,228 likes and 85 retweets. And I'm just like, what the heck? I don't understand Twitter. I don't understand how some people are super popular on there because I follow them like, y'all are boring. And then, I tend to like myself, and then I get like 2 likes. I'm like, well, dang it. This is sad. So apparently I need to tweet about chicken more often. So that was a lot of fun. The third reason I'm very excited for today is I have invited one of my friends onto the show, Mr. Joe Mastrangelo. That's how you say it, right?
That's me.
That's you.
Me.
All right, so tell us your story, Joseph. Who are you? Why did I bring you on here? Convince me, because I'm still not convinced that you should be on the show.
Well, I don't know why you brought me on here. I just know that I said yes. And I'm a youth minister in Sugarland, Texas. It's a suburb of Houston, Southwest Houston. It is, I'm just a regular youth minister. We do some things a little different down in Sugarland at our parish, St. Teresa's. Shout out to you. And we are just really we're trying a lot of different things that are new, I think, in ministry that some other places don't know a whole lot about, or they get so caught up in doing things the way they've always been done, whether it's CCE or Sunday nights or just everything that's like, it's if we do X and Y, we get Z. And that's not always the case. So we just kind of do things different. So I'm assuming that's why you have me on the show. Yeah,
that is. We're friends. That's the real reason. You could have said that.
And I'm free.
Yeah. You're free? Never mind. I'm not going to.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there.
I didn't expect it to come out that way. I guess I didn't expect you to take it that way.
You should know me better than that by now.
Probably should.
So, first of all, the main reason that you said yes makes you sound very holy. Because you said yes, not fully understanding what you were getting into, which is very much like the Blessed Mother. She's like, the angel's like, you're going to have God's baby. And she's like, what? No, it's going to happen. Okay. And then she held all these things in her heart. So apparently you're going to hold all the reasons why you came into the show in your heart for the rest of eternity.
And maybe that was like a blessing, because if I, like, one of the things I was thinking about just before coming on here, we went to mass and that was awesome. But after we're sitting there and we get the Eucharist, and I realized I haven't stressed out at all about this. And I stress out getting in front of the teens that I see every single week, or every time in front of 200 kids, I get stressed out. I didn't freak out. I wasn't stressing. I wasn't anxious at all about getting on the show. So maybe that's just because just accepting it and just doing is a lot better than really thinking about doing it.
Yeah. So two things.
So don't think.
Don't think. That's actually my life motto. So first of all, teenagers are a scary group of people. I
hear that. I don't agree, but I hear that.
No, I'm kidding. I work in youth ministry. I like teenagers as well. Most of them. There are some of them that are turds, but none of the ones of the people who listen to the show. All their kids are angels.
They're angels.
Yeah. Yes.
God has blessed them with perfect children.
He definitely.
Praise God.
Perfect children. Maybe you're gonna have perfect children like Mary. Mary's the only person that had a perfect child.
Yeah.
I guess, and her parents.
I think that's what. I mean, it's also just one, so maybe it's a little easier to parent one child. And when it's a son of man and son of God, makes that even easier. So
yeah, that would be. I wish my kids didn't sin.
I think about that. It's like Joseph. Yeah, it must have been stressful to be like the foster father of Jesus, but he never had it. He probably never had to discipline him. Like, what do you discipline? Well, Mary did. When he went off, when he was 13, and they went to the temple, and they were going back. They're leaving Jerusalem, and Mary's like, why didn't you come with us? And then even that failed, because where else do you expect me to be, Mary? Mom?
Come on, Mom. You know me better than that, Mom.
You know I'm the Son of God. I have to teach these Pharisees the truth.
Yeah, and then he fought those Pharisees from that day forward. So, the main reason I brought you on, not only because you're a friend of mine, but because y'all are doing some really interesting things in youth ministry. And I wanted to bring you on to talk about that. You kind of already alluded to one of them, that people are often in ministry or in the church afraid of change. And y'all are doing some things, you're using the same content of the faith, but using some different methods. So those are the main things I want to talk to you about here in this first segment. So first of all, let's get into that thing about change, because y'all do these things. Why don't you explain the Super Saturdays first, and we'll talk about that.
Right,
what is a Super Saturday model for youth ministry?
A Super Saturday is a really cool name for basically an all-day conference/retreat that takes place of the regular faith formation for the high school students at our parish. And so regular high school faith formation, it used to, when I was growing up, probably when you were growing up, Taylor, was CC. You go to a classroom Sundays, and you either you had a book or maybe the catechism, and you just you had a teacher. It was like an extra day of class on Sundays where you just learned about God in the church. Probably about 25 years ago, Life Teen came on the scene, and there's a lot of realization that wasn't working anymore. So they were like, let's engage the teens differently. So they, instead of having classrooms, they got out of the classrooms, they got in a big gather room, and it did all this. And I don't want to take all the credit. I'm not the first one to come up with this idea. Instead of doing
it's like Chick-fil-A. You didn't invent the chicken sandwich. You perfected it.
No, we'll still have a ways to go with that. God's still working on us. But we take all of instead of doing every week Sunday, we do 4 all-day Saturday conferences. A good friend of mine, Matt Regetz, speaker and youth minister in Houston, he really started and paved the way at his parish in Houston, and I kind of adapted it for our parish. Basically, there's many reasons why we can do it, but number one reason is if our goal is to build disciples and make disciples out of these high school teens, I asked myself, how did I become a disciple? And I started asking people around me, how did you initially become a disciple? Was it at a life night? Was it on a CCE class? What was that initial catalyst that started that? And I think it was top 4 or 5 answers. It was with the Eucharist, in front of the Eucharist, in front of the Blessed Sacrament, in front of any sacraments, whether it was confession. Well, confession was a big one. Community, a sense of community, and then last but not least was a retreat or conference experience. It was one of those things. Not a single response came back to me saying it was a CCE class or it was Life Teen Night or Life Night that changed them. Now, all those things could have aided them and helped them along the way, but the initial catalyst didn't happen at that. So I thought to myself, why are we spinning our wheels if so many of the teens we're waiting for them to get a retreat experience so they have that conversion and that change toward discipleship? Why are we spinning our wheels every single week? Why don't we give them that experience as faith formation, and that will propel them to further their life and journey with Christ?
Yeah, and that's so good because we were talking earlier. We've been hanging out most of the day. It's been a lot of fun. But in most of the youth ministry documents, the things that say like this is how youth ministry should be done, it's all the content and it has like suggested ways to do that. But none of these documents say this is the method. This is how it actually has to look, and that way you can tailor things to a community. So some, like most of the youth groups around here meet on Sunday nights. Most youth groups in the nation do that, and then you and some of these other guys in Houston are doing something different in response to some of these questions that you've been asking. Of like, okay, what we've been doing isn't working, so let's try something else. So first of all, what have you seen in that has been working? And then second of all, what has been like the resistance to change or some of the things that maybe aren't perfect in this model?
Okay. The greatest, like the thing that, like what's the fruit of this is the teens becoming disciples. And the only way to judge that is over time. So we just finished our first year. However, I expected would change to kind of take 3 years to take place. I expected this is a 3-year plan for me. I expected by the third year, I would see like real change in the youth of the parish. Surprisingly enough, this first year, we've seen our Wednesday night programming, which is a general, what everyone considers like the youth group night, go from basically nobody showing up to having 30 to 50 kids every single Wednesday night. And simply from changing from a Sunday night thing where they're being forced to come every Sunday night to changing it to this Super Saturday model, they no longer feel like the obligation to come something, but they feel a drive, an inner drive to come. And that's because of the community that they initially get on this all day. Like you've been on a retreat, you've been at a conference, you realize that by the end of the conference, there's community that's built in that. The same thing with these Super Saturdays. By the end of the Super Saturday, they've built a community. They meet new people. They end up desiring to meet with these people again. So it feeds so well into our regular youth group fellowship nights. And so that's the initial fruit that I've seen.
Yeah, and because the Catholic Church has so many things, like its content, its teachings don't change. I mean, it hadn't changed in 2,000 years, but there's often this, within church leadership, this resistance to changing things. Has there been any resistance from your parish community, from people on this change from going to every Sunday night to, once every month or so?
The initial resistance came from a lot of people, more about the thought that if you don't make them come on Sunday nights, they're not going to come to Mass. And my thought is, they're not going to Mass anyways. Families aren't making them go to Mass. If they're not going to go to Mass anyways, and us saying that them coming on Sunday nights or for faith formation, at least they're like somewhere close in proximity on a regular basis, that's not building disciples. That's not changing their lives. You have to get them desiring to go to Mass and not just forcing them to go to Mass. So that was one initial, and it was totally a speculative thing. It wasn't like, oh, we know that this won't work because we've done it before. It was, well, they have to come on a regular Sunday because otherwise they won't come to anything else. And I saw exactly the opposite. Once you stop forcing them to come on Sundays, they start to desire to come on other times. The other thing the positive thing that I wanted to express with families as well is I wanted to give them Sundays back. I want Sundays to be back for the families. The kids, they're already postponing their studying and getting ready for Monday till Sunday night anyways. And then if we're adding them one more thing for the tack on their list on the end of the weekend for them and their family and their kids, let's give it back to the families. Let's make this a family day of rest and not just another day. Let's rush through everything, get everything done.
Yeah, and then in the last couple minutes we have in this segment, I want to dive into some family things. But I think the two biggest things that stand out for me in this model, because like I said earlier, it's like I've seen other models that produce disciples, right? We're not saying that this is the only model that works.
By far, no.
But I love the courage to change, because I think so often we get stuck in, like you were saying, we've always done it like this, so we're going to keep it like this. And we were talking earlier that there's some resistance to, it's like, if we change something, that means anything anybody in the past has ever done was wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, like we're always adapting. We're always trying to change. So in our last 2 minutes or so, I want you to dive into families, because I got in your car today and there was a ton of water bottles. So why don't you explain what the water bottles are for?
So this last weekend was our Archdiocesan Youth Conference. So I'm going to jump right into it. But the closing Mass, God always speaks to me in these times. And God spoke to me in a way talking about, I've been struggling, like, how do we get the families back to church? How do we get them? Because we can change a teen's life, but what happens when you go back into the family? So I have this idea, this visual of water and going back to the water, the living well. Jesus says that he's the living well, living water, and go back. We need to go back and bring the families to the living well, to Jesus. Because what happens is we're all like these water bottles that are perforated, and they're like, we all are meant to hold stuff. But if we're holding what the world has to offer, we're holding dirt and mud and messing it up. Once we go back to the living water, we can receive fresh, clean water. And if we go to the sacraments, go to reconciliation, we can dump out all the sludge, all the junk, and then we can get filled up with Christ. So let's say I get a teen from parents and their family doesn't go to Mass every week, and maybe they go once a month and all this. But as a family unit, they're like a big old bucket that's full of mud and dirt, because they're not going to the sacraments, not going back to Christ, not going to the see Jesus in the Eucharist. And so their bucket is full of mud and everything, and they're not getting refreshed and cleaned. Let's say parents give me their child to receive a sacrament confirmation, and I have this bottle full of mud, full of dirt, full of crud. Let's say at a retreat experience, they're converted, they change, they go to confession, they're cleaned out, and we fill it up with fresh water, the living water. And with that same water bottle goes back in that family bucket of mud and sludge, what's inevitably going to happen? It's going to become muddy and dirty again, just because it needs to be surrounded by clean, fresh water. And that's what's needed with the family.
Yeah, I think it's such a good challenge for us. And I think about that even with my own family. Of the realization of families, like, okay, this is our true calling as a family, to get each other to heaven. So if you haven't been in a while, this is just our challenge. I don't do this often. Get to confession and pray together as a family. We will be right back with Joseph Mastrangelo, so I can play a game and beat him at it. We are back for our second segment of Forte Catholic for the day, right here on Red Sea Radio. I have my guest co-host Joseph Mastrangelo here today, the Master of Angels. That's what that name means. I don't know if he's a Master of Angels in the good way, or more like, the Prince of Angels, like the fallen angel Satan. But we'll find out. I'll let you decide. Maybe that'll be my next Twitter poll. But we also have another very special treat today. He brought along his, so Joseph's the high school youth minister at his parish, and Tanya is the junior high youth minister at her parish. I met her 2 weeks ago in Ohio, because that makes sense, at a youth ministry training conference. And I learned while I was there that, Tanya, you've actually been in this studio before. Why don't you tell that story?
I sure have. It is good to be back here in the studio. Back when I was in college, I had a show called The Tin and Tan Show. It was great. It was lovely.
Yeah, so you had your own show right here before I even was born.
Exactly. Before you were born, I definitely had a show. Because that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. So when I found out that Tanya, I knew she was coming, but when I found out she had her own show, I was like, okay, she must have some kind of talent at this. So I invited you to come and put a game to pit youth minister versus youth minister. So me versus Joseph.
That's me.
It's a chance for me to win and beat him. It's also
You say that like you never win anything. It's a chance for me to win at something in life.
no. It's funny because I win at literally everything I do. But in saying that, this is also a chance for me to look really stupid on my show. So, Tanya, why don't you, or Tan, I should call
Tan.
you, since you're on the radio.
Right.
Your stage name.
My stage name is Tan.
Also something with multiple meanings. But why don't you explain the game to us, and then we'll get it started.
Sure. So this game is called Things Every Youth Minister Should Know, both in the religious aspect and the pop culture aspect, because since we minister to teens, we should know these things. These are things that we should all know. As
Nothing
youth
with
ministers.
Kim Kardashian, I hope.
No, nothing with Kim Kardashian.
Only Chloe.
Or Kylie
I
Jenner. Actually, that's not. I mean, whatever.
We
Anyways,
can't. We're contractually obliged not to be talk about her on the radio, her him thing. Yeah,
Shim.
yeah.
anyways, so we have the way that this will work is I'll ask a question, a catechetical question or catechesis question to Joseph, and then if he doesn't get it, Taylor.
When
will,
he doesn't get it right, I'll have a chance to answer.
Taylor will get to answer it, and we'll switch from catechetical questions to pop culture questions.
You realize I was in seminary for 3.5 years, so if I get any of these catechetical questions wrong,
then you
That'd
quit.
be
So that has
awesome.
to
And then
say
I'm
something as well.
Okay, so are we ready?
Ready, set, go.
Go. All right. This question is for Joseph. Joseph, what are the 3 sacraments of initiation?
softball one, I love it. Baptism, Eucharist, and confirmation. And the order could be changed with confirmation
Right.
and Eucharist.
Correct. That is correct.
All right, 1 point for you.
1 point for you. Taylor.
I've never been nervous on my show before. I am now.
Taylor, what is the word that describes the transformation from bread to the body of Christ?
Transubstantiation.
That is
I
correct.
am so smart.
That is very correct. All right, pop culture.
Oh no.
Joseph, name the viral challenge that featured the song Black Beatles where people froze in odd positions. This was a social media challenge.
This was a social media challenge that is called, oh my gosh.
We did it.
I know, I did it too. I can't remember the name.
Oh my gosh. I remember doing it. I don't even remember.
3, 2, 1.
One. All right, Taylor, what is the name of this challenge?
I'm just going to say the freeze challenge. Dang it.
Ooh, wrong. It is called the mannequin challenge.
Dang
yeah.
it.
Producer,
Dang it. That's
producer.
so terrible because we went to a coffee shop today. The mannequins were talking to each other.
Oh yeah.
The mannequin
Yes,
challenge.
We did it.
mannequin
Dang it.
All
I was
right.
thinking freeze tag.
So you get it. Your second,
Now I get a pop culture question.
and
now you
I
get-
get the. If he misses it, I get to try to.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay.
You
Okay.
understand the game well. You're so smart.
Woo! All right, Taylor,
That's my name.
who won the NBA Finals this year?
The Golden State Warriors.
That is correct.
Very sadly.
So that means you're ahead by 1.
2-1. I'm keeping score. I am
Right.
trustworthy.
One, two. Okay.
That's
right.
actually
That's-
not what my Twitter followers said. They said I wasn't. It was great.
Yeah. All right, Joseph, this question should be right up your alley. Who?
It's a bowling question.
Oh my gosh!
Strike.
Wow.
Spare me anymore.
mm,
There you go.
who is the
Get
patron
your head out of the
saint
gutter.
of
There you go.
coffee?
Patron saint of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Kofifi?
It is not
Coffee.
Kafifi.
Coffee.
As a lover of coffee,
Coffee.
coffee.
I do
Coffee.
love coffee.
You
That's
should
our
know.
last.
That's literally our next segment.
Yeah.
So you better know this.
I don't know this.
Or you don't get to come back.
There's
for
a
the next
patron
segment.
saint of coffee. I want to say Saint Francis, but it's probably not.
That is incorrect.
You don't know this.
Saint Java.
Good try, but no. It is Saint Drago, patron of coffee. Yep.
That was not anywhere in my
Nope.
file of my brain. Nowhere.
Okay.
You did not prepare for our last segment. It's literally about coffee. On a Catholic's radio show, you should know the patron saint of coffee.
Probably should.
Okay. Taylor,
Yes.
what is the phrase that refers to Jesus being fully human and fully God? Not phrase. It's 2 words.
I know this. Oh my gosh. There's a song about it, and I can't remember it.
It is a hypostatic
Oh,
union.
you were supposed to get a chance.
You didn't give me a
to
chance
steal.
to steal.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't know it, though.
I was thinking of the
You did
Eastern.
You did the same thing I did. You were like, oh.
I know it's like the two natures of one. I was trying to remember it.
Yeah, I mean, I was mad at myself because I listened to a band in college that was called the Hyperstatic Union, kind of playing off that, and I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so sad. Sorry, Joseph. You didn't get a chance to steal.
That's
you didn't
okay.
know, but you didn't know it, so it's fine.
It could have come to me.
Sure. Okay.
No love in this
Pop
studio.
culture. Now. So,
Back to me.
Joseph,
That's me.
describe the word or define the word fam and successfully use it in a sentence.
Fam.
Fam.
Oh my God. I know this isn't right, but fam is short for your family. And hey guys, I got to go to dinner with my fam.
So I'm gonna say no because in the teen.
Oh wait, he has to.
Sorry.
I get a chance.
You get a chance. Sorry.
Okay, so I think you're almost correct, but it's more like you would say it to a friend who you're calling part of your family. So be like, "What's up, fam?" Like that.
Correct.
That's okay.
No. I'm sorry. Close, but no cigar.
I love that Tanya's doing this game because she works with you, so she would totally tailor this to me.
She, no pun intended.
No,
Tailor this.
totally pun intended.
Okay, Taylor.
Yes.
A similar question. Define the word goat and use it successfully in a sentence.
The greatest of all time, LeBron James is the GOAT.
There you go.
It's like the one thing and I know in pop culture.
So I think that's 4-1.
4-1.
I only got one.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're
All right.
terrible. You're going to get fired because of this.
Joseph. This is a catechetical question. What are the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit?
Oh my gosh! As a youth minister,
I know the fruits. I know.
Because of
is
song.
that
Because
one
of-
of the questions? Yeah. The
because
fruits.
of song.
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness,
Gifts.
faithfulness,
Gifts.
gentleness,
I know.
self-control.
Yeah, he's just going.
He's taking control
Yep.
because it's his show.
Ah.
Gifts: wisdom, courage, fortitude, understanding, right judgment, and did I say counsel?
No.
Counsel, and one more. Fortitude, judgment. Which one am I missing? I said
Cardinal Donardo would be mad at you. He wouldn't let you get confirmed.
he always only asks for one. He never
What?
expects anybody. Well, he tries. Which one did I miss? Wonder and all.
Yes, that is correct. You get
Aw.
That should be like an extra point. That was 7. Of course, you're gonna give him the fruits of the spirit, and he's just gonna sing the stupid song.
Love, joy,
Nope.
peace, patience,
Nope.
kindness, goodness, faithfulness,
Nope.
gentleness, and self-control.
Nope. Taylor. Name the 5 precepts of the Catholic Church.
You see, I learned this in school once.
We're actually really big about making sure our teens know this.
Yep, we are.
The 5 precepts of the church.
You're gonna kick yourself.
Go ahead.
Joseph.
Go to church, go to mass every Sunday and every holy day of obligation. Receive the Eucharist at least once yearly within the season of Lent. Go to reconciliation at least once a year. Tithe or provide for the goodness of the church. And the 5th one is tithe.
$5 foot long.
I have to get at least partial credit for this. This is like,
You will get a point. So the other one is you said fasting, right?
I forgot the fasting
Yeah,
one. I skipped
so
over that one.
fasting. I'll
Fasting.
give
We
you a
all
point.
know which one you're not good at.
Fasting and abstaining on the days appointed by the church.
I'll give you a point. So now it's 4-3.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
I
sorry.
appreciate that.
We need to do
Sorry.
just one ding. Not ding, only one.
Okay. So
There you go. That's what it gets.
Joseph.
Yes.
Um,
Pop culture.
yeah. Name the hit show on NBC that revolves around the lives of 4 siblings. It is a brand new show. It is one of my favorite shows.
It revolves around 4 siblings.
Yes,
Oh, man, it's
there's-
the one that makes people cry, and I can't remember that.
Exactly.
On NBC.
On NBC.
Oh, I know this one. This is it's not 4. It's 3 siblings.
It's 4 siblings.
Is this the one? I'm thinking of the one where they adopted the boy.
Yep. What's that show called?
That's only 3 siblings.
3 seconds.
3
Just say the
siblings.
name of it.
3
Oh no,
siblings.
that's triplets.
It's triplets.
Yeah, you said
3
4
siblings.
you
3
said-
siblings.
Oh my gosh. All right, it's
Five.
it's right
4.
there. We watched it.
3, 2, 1.
This Is Us.
That is
It's
correct.
so funny because in your answer you were like, I know it. This is.
Us.
so close.
That's so funny.
That show is so good, by the way,
It is a fantastic.
I don't
show.
watch it because I don't like crying.
because he thinks that's manly if he doesn't cry.
I'm very manly.
Okay. Taylor. What is the name of the movie that starred Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver about 2 Jesuit priests who go and look for their mentor in Japan?
Silence.
Correctamundo.
I'm so smart.
Correctamundo.
I'm going to win this game and people are still going to yell at me for not knowing the hypostatic union.
Or the 5 precepts of the church.
And that one, no
Right.
one cares.
It's kind of like what we need, the bare minimum of what we're supposed to do as Catholics.
Yeah.
Okay. Joseph.
Yes.
Catechetical. Or just
That's what
Catholic.
we're all about here on Forte Catholic. The bare minimum you need to be a Catholic.
Name the 4 mysteries of the Rosary.
Literally the opposite.
The 4.
Like
oh,
the 4 different kinds of.
yeah, okay, we got joyful, sorrowful, glorious, and luminous.
Got him.
Also, do you notice I count like a German?
Loudly.
Sure.
No, with your thumb as 1, and then 2, 3, 4.
I didn't know that's how Germans counted, but cool.
Also, no one on the radio can see your hands.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that's why I said when you count with your thumb first.
So, Taylor, what are the liturgical colors that the Catholic has? All of them.
All of them?
Well, the main ones.
Purple for Lent, red for martyrs,
And
Pentecost.
mhm.
Pink,
And?
pink twice a year. Green for ordinary time, or rose if you want to be. It's totally pink. Shut up. I think that's it.
That's
That's the main ones.
You forgot white and black, and red's also for confirmation.
I already got my point. Shut up.
okay.
Like I'm the class brown noser over here.
It's my show and Tanya's game, so you have no
yeah,
say.
this is my game. Pop culture. Joseph, what is the name of the movie that starred Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling about 2 struggling artists in L.A.?
It may or may not have won an award.
Oh wait, is that the one where it's like the musical as well?
Yes.
La La Land.
Correct.
Were they together in The Notebook too?
No, that
No.
was Rachel McAdams.
Okay.
Cool. So it is 7-5. It looks like, right?
Yep. And we have 2 minutes left, so I'm gonna
2
stall.
minutes left.
Oh come on.
I'm kidding.
All right. It's
The
your
answer is
your turn for pop culture one, Taylor. What is the name of Jay-Z's new album?
444.
Correct.
I had no idea.
Mad props to my friend Alex Gote for cluing me in on that.
Cool. Catechetical.
What's up, fam?
What's up, fam?
Fam.
What's up, fam? What are the cardinal virtues?
Faith, hope, and love.
Flying, feeding their chicks.
Faith, hope, and love. There's 7.
Oh, those are faith, hope, and love are the.
Theological.
All right, faith, hope, and love.
There's 4 cardinal virtues.
Faith, hope, love.
The longer you take, the less chance you have to win.
I know. Why can't I think of the 4th one? Faith, hope, love. Because those are the theological virtues. The
Right, but the 4 cardinal virtues.
That wasn't the question, though. That's the whole point.
sigh in a microphone. Just I'm gonna turn my keys in tomorrow.
What color is the sky? Well, turtles are green.
Is it? That's... Now he only has to think of one.
I don't know.
He doesn't know. So no one gets a point.
What was the fourth one?
Well, the 4 cardinal virtues are prudence, temperance, fortitude, and justice.
Oh.
Yeah. You answered theological.
Yeah.
I knew
know.
those.
I was wrong.
Faith, hope, and love.
Okay, this question.
Last question, and I already win.
He wins. Yeah.
Cool. When is the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe?
December.
You're married to a Mexican.
6th.
You better get this right. Nope. December 12th.
Correct.
All right, you got a point that means nothing because I win
7-6.
8-6.
8-6?
8-6. I won by 2. I am superior. You are fired from your parish, but we're going to come back and keep talking about coffee and see if you actually know anything about coffee. This is Forte Catholic with your host Taylor Schroll, guest co-host for the day Joseph Mastrangelo. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. If you're just joining us, I just have to let you know that we just played a game and I won. I'm a child.
Congratulations.
You're so humble and sad all at the same time. Joseph was like, "You're going to win this game because there are questions about pop culture." I was like, "I know. That's why I asked you to add pop culture questions." So anyway, you're the guest co-host for the day. I decided that we were going to play a game. We decided together on what we were going to talk about in the first segment. And then for some odd reason, I trusted you. And I said, the last segment, you can decide what it was. And I instantly regretted that because you came back and said, you want to talk about?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. You sent me a text message like, and yeah, I picked for the third topic, anything you're passionate about. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm passionate about coffee. I love coffee. I've probably been drinking coffee since I was probably like 8 years old. So, and if you don't know me, I'm 6'2" inches, so I'm tall. So coffee does not necessarily stunt your growth. Otherwise, I would have been 7 feet tall, which is probably better than I'm not 7 feet tall.
So if you were born to be 6 foot and you drink coffee, you're going to be 5'2". You heard it here first on Forte Catholic.
And then we talked about the fact that you were like, well, how does coffee relate to ministry? I'm like, actually, I've thought about it a lot. So one thing, I love coffee. I drink coffee every day. I love coffee so much I roast my own coffee beans. So, like you buy coffee beans or like dark roasted or medium roasted. I do that at home for my own coffee. My wife thought I was super extra when I was, when she first met me.
See, now you're trying to like make up for it and like join pop culture by using words like extra. You have gray hair. Stop it.
The one that I can't do is bougie. Like he's so bougie for roasting his own coffee.
Yeah. There are people listening like, can he say that on Catholic radio?
What does that mean? But
it's a theological term. Look it up in your catechism.
So I'm very passionate about coffee, and one of the things I worked at a local coffee shop in my hometown growing up in Tomball, Texas. It's now closed. May it rest in peace.
Right after you worked there, they were like, "We can't be an establishment anymore."
He ruined us. And then a short period of time, I worked at Starbucks as well. And coffee has, like, for me, has always represented this a drink that brings people together. If you don't know, like in Northern Africa, the mother of a house will still roast the coffee it's a family gathering point. She'll be roasting the coffee and then she'll grind it and then she'll brew it all like in one sitting. When everyone in the community, they have guests. This is a gathering point, a community point coming together. So for coffee, it has always represented like this. Any new city I would go to, I would try to find the best local coffee shop. And there's always, you meet people and they're willing to talk to you with coffee, over a cup of coffee. So I think about coffee a lot when I think about ministry. I think about what brings people together. Like, what's the purpose of us as a church, as a Catholics, as Christians, we're supposed to bring people together. Jesus' final prayer on this earth in the Gospel of John is, I pray that they may be one as you and I are one. And the only way we can do that is if we like start conversations and start meeting and communicating and being together. So that's always been a big part of like one of the things I think about with coffee.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we were talking about this at a coffee shop earlier, drinking coffee. It's like, okay, like, dude, we have to talk about this. Like, what are you going to talk about coffee? And I can totally tell that you're passionate about it. And you're talking about evangelization, ministry, these types of things. People have to be passionate about it. And like for your love of coffee, you want other people to
know about it.
Know about it, like know things about it, like know what African women do for some reason. Like you're excited about it, and you want to share about it. And just like people in church that get excited about it and often share crap that doesn't matter or doesn't matter as much, like what people in Northern Africa are doing.
But when people are passionate about it, passionate about anything, they like when they share about it, like people are drawn into that passion. And that goes with ministry as well. Like when we get in front of a group of teens, or like you have these great speakers that get in front of a group of people, the best ones are the ones that are just impassioned, and they draw people in with that passion. You think about St. Peter, like after the Pentecost, he preaches to all these people, and what was it 2,000 came into the church that day? Like they're like it's the passion that the Holy Spirit gives us in ministry. But we need to look at what gives us passion in our own lives and have that help us fuel us in our conversations. I think it's like coffee also, like we talk about evangelization, we talk about community in the church, but I always wonder, like, do we recognize that this means evangelization? A lot of times, like, first step is hospitality. We have to welcome people. We have to give them hospitality. And I think coffee serves as a great point to do that. And I don't mean like the Folgers coffee can and donuts, like bringing people in. People go to Starbucks, people go to local coffee shops because they appreciate that atmosphere. They appreciate the better quality products they do. And something that I learned with Starbucks, when I worked at Starbucks, is right around the time that Charles Schulz wrote his second book. Don't ask me to name the
Who's
title.
Charles Schulz?
Oh, Charles Schulz is the founder, former CEO. He just stepped down, but founder of Starbucks. He had this idea. He went to Italy. He had this great, amazing coffee experiences and all around Italy. And he's like, this needs to happen in the United States. And he created Starbucks in Seattle. You can Google a lot more about that and learn more about that if you're interested. But in his book, the second book, he talked about his desire to make Starbucks everyone's third place. Our homes are our first place. Our work and our schools are our second place. And he wanted Starbucks to be the third place. I think
he wasn't really good at math. Those are 4 places.
Oh, school / work.
I know.
You're just you're just busting me, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. Just trying to throw me off my game.
Yep.
And when I first experienced that and like read that, it's like, why are we not doing this in the church? We got so caught up in this idea that people have to come to church, so they just come because they have to. We've lost the ability to be hospitable, and we lost the thought that let's make this everyone's third place because they want to be here, not because they have to be here.
So what can we learn from these coffee shops, the local coffee shops, Starbucks, trying to be that third place? What can we learn as a church community for parishioners, just your random average Joe, like you random Catholic Joe, which is what all your social media stuff. Just for the person out there, it's like what can they learn from coffee shops about how to be hospitable in their parishes?
The first thing to learn from the coffee shops and Starbucks and any of these good coffee shops that we go to is let's give people a good, a point of contact to commune and be together and actually socialize, and not just be a place with these generic rooms, multi-purpose rooms. Like, here, let's have a great Bible study in this multi-purpose room, but don't put anything on the walls because we can't put holes in the walls. We can't make it look comfortable. I saw a parish, actually a neighboring parish. They have this new center. It's and the pastor wanted it to feel like a home. And so what does he do is he has family photos. Basically, the church family, they have photos all over the walls to, when you go to your house or your friend's house, what are you going to see? the family photos, like the photos of them playing, of their class when they were in third grade. They're going to have these photos. So let's make a place that's welcoming and comfortable that they want to be in, and provide like something of substance. Jesus fed people all the time. Like even after he died and rose from the dead, and the disciples are out fishing and they see Jesus on the side, and Peter jumps out and he goes swimming and he tells them, "Come eat with me." He already had a fire. He was already ready to feed the disciples. He was always willing to feed them. Like, why don't and not just with day old donuts or like just donuts. Like, let's give them something of substance that they can come to, not just after Mass, but every day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We were talking earlier. You brought one of your youth ministry assistants along, and we were sitting in the coffee shop. She's like, "I adore this place. It's absolutely tremendous." And we just had that feeling of it's relaxing. It's a place where we can all hang out and talk, do whatever, right? So I think being able to have those conversations, whether it's at church or whether it's doing evangelization, just like by getting to know people and hanging out with people who often wouldn't come to a church or have been burned by the church. It's like, okay, let's just go have coffee with her or go hang out or invite them into your home, that sort of thing.
Yeah, Cynthia, who's one that you referenced, like her first experience of coming to the church was prior to me being the youth minister at the parish. And she came to me a year after that first, she comes to talk to me and she says how she went to a retreat and she just didn't, the talk was going on and she just didn't feel welcomed, and they were criticizing so many different things. And if as a church, if our first encounter with somebody is criticizing them or their family or their friends, whether it's morally right or morally wrong, if their first encounter of us is criticizing, what does that say? Like, that's not welcoming. Our first conversation should not be about anything other than love and welcoming.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because I had a lunch meeting with a friend of mine, and he was sharing about a book that he just read about how the brain works, and about how if you have a conversation with somebody and you say something that incites their emotion, nothing you say rationally they're listening to. They're already gone.
Yeah.
The term that this book used was like their elephant was run. This big elephant is the emotions, and then there's this little rider on top of it, and the rider is rational thought.
Yeah.
And if you say something and you incite somebody's emotion, the elephant runs away, and you are not talking to a person anymore. Their mind is way over there. And so you're trying to still talk rationally, like this is the actual truths that the church teaches, but they're not even listening to you anymore.
Yeah.
So being able to approach things in a way like a coffee shop of welcoming and friendship and building that trust, and then you can talk about some of the tough truths that the church teaches, those types of things.
Exactly. I mean, it's the things that anybody that's been in the church in the recent days, the last couple of years, we're talking more and more about evangelization and points of evangelization. We're talking about how do we do this? And the first step, Sherry Wendell talks about, is trust. They have to trust you. And she mentions in the book how people have lost trust in the church, in the priest, in the ministers, in some way or another. And we have to build that trust back up. And you do that in simply conversating, having conversations with each other in a very open, welcoming environment that Starbucks has created, most coffee shops create, that gives them a point of rest and respite from the craziness of the world. If we're not that point of rest for them that they're experiencing in the rest of the world, we're not going to get them to accept anything else we're teaching.
Right. And I know one of the other things that you were very, in your passion for coffee, one of the other things that has come along with that passion is the social justice issues surrounding coffee. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
So as you learn about coffee, you learn that there's two types of coffees. Like there's the Robusta and there's the Arabica. Arabica is the type of beans that are the really good quality that all the good coffee shops are using. Robusta, it's called Robusta because it's robust. It actually grows a lot easier in different climates, and it's a lot cheaper to grow. They can actually use farming equipment to grow it and harvest the beans. But what that also means is that they're putting out people out of jobs. And so our Folgers coffees are those Maxwell House, those canned coffees that are really cheap. They're cheap for a reason. the good quality coffee. And I'm not saying that all the coffee shops and all Starbucks are like treating the farmers well, but you learn very quickly that the men and women that are growing the coffee and they're harvesting it, there's a lot of effort, a lot of work that's involved in doing that. And so when we drink our coffee, it's not just about having good coffee, it's about having coffee that is good for the world and good for our family, the fam. I've worked it in finally.
Attaboy. Yeah. So another thing you were talking about, not just the types of coffee, and their cost, but that the Robusta actually ruins the environment, doesn't it?
Oh yes. Thanks for bringing that up. Because Robusta, it grows a lot quicker. It grows in different climates. It actually, and the way that they harvest it, the machine's going there, and instead of being picked by hand or actually being harvested and being treated that way, it's actually taking a lot of nutrients out of the ground. It's causing more pollution because of the big machines that they're using, versus a lot of the good Arabica beans have to be grown on smaller lots, and they have to be grown on mountainsides, and so you can't use machines. It has to be picked and harvested by hands, and that reduces carbon emissions, and I don't want to sound all hippie and crazy like that, but that does affect our environment.
Yeah, so I guess my question on that, because I've talked on the show before that I often struggle with, a lot of Catholics will like protest certain businesses because they like Walmart because they support Planned Parenthood, and I'm sitting over here I started hearing that when I was in grad school, and I was like, I'm a full-time grad student, I'm working full-time. I just had a kid. I just got married. Like, I have no money, to be able to provide for my family. The best place to do that is to shop at Walmart because it's the cheapest, right? Mm-hmm. So I could see somebody hearing this. It's like, oh, I can't buy Folgers because then I'm a bad Catholic. So, what would your response be to somebody who, okay, I can't afford this, but what does that awareness do? What should we actually be doing?
I think I don't want to get into the bigger picture of fast food versus slow food, meaning that when we buy from these these things that were necessarily contributing to the destruction of the world, it's more about recognizing that our everyday decisions, simply as what coffee we're choosing, has an impact beyond ourselves. And that's really a big Catholic idea, is that every action we have that we take has a effect not just on us and not just those near us, but can have an effect of beyond us on the world. And if we simply know this about simply even just the coffee we drink every day, whether it's Folgers or whatever, or if you do go to a local coffee shop and you buy their roasted coffee and you take that and you grind it and you take care of it, that it gives us a better awareness of the world around us. Thus, the Catholic universal idea that we're universal, that we are together in community.
Well, good. Yeah, thanks for that, because I know a lot of people often struggle with that, and sometimes it can come across as one of those things that makes people emotional and oh, that's stupid. What they're making me buy more expensive coffee or whatever. But I think that's actually a great way to say that. So, Joseph, thanks for coming on today. If people want to get connected with you, how can they do that?
Social media, I'm at Twitter at The Catholic Joe on Twitter. Instagram, I believe I'm just Catholic Joe.
Well, cool. Thanks for coming on, man. This has been another great episode of Forte Catholic. Check out fortecatholic.com for more. See ya!